Well, good morning and welcome to Camper Trailer of the Year 2024, sponsored by the power of Red Arc. Now, I've been having a bit of a look around the Rover Series 2. I must admit, this is a pretty fascinating camper. This sort of styling configuration owes its origins to a 1930s teardrop camper, but it looks to be offering an awful lot more than that to me. I'm really looking forward over the next few days to find out more about it, the build quality, the quality of finish, and the ease of use. The Stockman Rover Ultra certainly turned heads at this year's Camper Trailer of the Year event. Nice space capsule looking thingy was just one comment that we had as our convoy stopped for fuel on the route between Narrabri and Warwick. This camper catapults a well-known general body shape into the 21st century. Stockman has been successfully servicing the outdoorsy camper with its range of pod campers for over 18 years. So I was really interested to speak to owner and industrial designer Phil Savory about what client base he was seeking to target with the Rover series. What he told me is his customers want comfort and convenience. And he certainly achieved this with this ergonomic, airy and insulated camper.
Inside the Stockman Rover is a full-size queen mattress and it is inner sprung. It's super comfortable. But more importantly, at the foot of the mattress, there's a small space, so tall people like me can really stretch out, or you could use that spot just to tuck a few extra belongings. If it was raining, sitting inside, upright in the lounge is super comfortable. The backrest is at just the right angle to either sit there and work on a laptop or watch a movie on the TV. Being built with 29mm thick composite panels, the Rover is very well insulated. It will be cool in summer and warm in winter. One downside of pods is that there isn't a lot of space inside for things like getting changed, but the standard shower cubicle on the far side of the camper will work out just fine.
Now, to boldly go where you haven't been lately, you need a camper that'll keep you warm, dry and well fed. So the Stockman Rover 02 comes with 150 litres of water capacity. It comes with a 130 litre Bushman fridge. It's got 100 watts of solar with an external jack for an extra 200 watts of solar to keep you on the road. And she's running off lithium batteries. So that's enough to keep a couple on the road for at least 4 days. Your length of stay out in the scrub will only be defined by how much water you use. So that'll depend on whether you use the shower, the Webasto combo heater and hot water service. Reduce the amount of showers you have and you'll stay on the road longer. Something else that'll keep you on the road for longer is all of the storage space. You've got 800 litres up front in the nose cone. You've got 250 litres of dedicated storage space in the main cabin. And then in that magnificent kitchen, you've got yourself 400 litres worth of storage. Now, that's enough for any couple.
The Stockman Rover oozes luxury from toe ball to tail. The standout for this camper is the quality of finish. Built on an Australian-made steel chassis and with alpha suspension and pedal shocks, there's a lot of Australian componentry here. That includes the Red Arc with a 2000 watt inverter and the Rogue and Red Vision systems. It has an Australian Bushman fridge and all the wiring is done here as well. But beyond that, the cabin and the fitting and the fixtures are all from overseas, and they're done remarkably well. The aluminium foam fiberglass composite body is glued to the chassis and held in place by high tensile bolts. All of the doors are double sealed with extra locking mechanisms to make sure everything fits just tight and terrific. The gas struts on the double fiberglass rear door soft open and close. The aluminium doors on the front storage cone gleam like glass. And all of the hinges are just millimetre perfect. It's really a beauty to behold. The thing I'm left puzzling about is that, given all this obvious goodness, why this camper has such a comparatively low payload of 271 kilos. Now, the reality is that that's not enough to fill the water tank, the wine racks and the fridge. So there must be some scope for refinement in some aspect of design or manufacture. For my part, I'm looking forward to seeing how industrial designer Phil puts his mind to improving some elements of this camper so that it can reach its full potential.
You couldn't get an easier camper to use than a pod. You can pack it in a few minutes, drive to where you want to be, and you'll be in bed and asleep just as quick as you want. The hardest part about getting a pod into the bush is just hooking it up and towing it. The team at Stockman have done a really good job of the kitchen layout. By utilising twin swinging arms, one for the stove, one for the sink, you've got access to the critical things right at hand. You've got a solid bench top with the fridge right beside you, the stove and the sink. It is the perfect triangle. In that magic triangle of the kitchen, there's even a dedicated area for wine bottles. Now it might sound a bit frivolous, but it's quite important. You don't want your glass rattling around when you're out back. This way, you can keep your nice penfolds nice and secure. And if it was gonna rain, you can rest assured you'll be pretty dry under that darch. The team have sealed behind the awning and around the door exceptionally well. You shouldn't see any water rolling off the roof of the pod down the walls if it's a bad day.
Now underneath the Rover too, you'll find a dual pedal suspension sitting on alpha suspension arms. Now, Phil, the owner, manager and designer of the Stockman products, when he saw the moguls at Genoan four-wheel drive park, he looked a little apprehensive. However, you should have seen the Cheshire cat smile on his dial when he was going over the moguls. And whilst he was looking where he was going, I was watching what the trailer did. And it cleared it quite magnificently.
With an Australian undercarriage supported by a predominantly overseas build, the Stockman Rover Ultra proves that there's no need to demand an all-Australian pedigree in order to get a top-notch camper.
The Rover 02 bleeds design. You can see it from a distance and you can see it close up. What I see is a fantastic camper.
$77,000 is not to be sneezed at for what is quite a small camper. But when you stop and you look at the way it's built and you look at the design and the features that come with it, I think it's reasonably priced. This is not the sort of camper that someone is going to buy on price though. They'll see it, they'll understand it, they'll get that design, and the price will be practically irrelevant.